This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, sometimes with cold cases, they end up being cold for a very long time because there just isn't enough evidence to charge someone. Well, in the case I'm telling you today, it took 27 years for a son to get justice for his mom after she was murdered in the most bizarre way. This is the case of Marlene Warren. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband Russ true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's your boy Russ, a.k.a. back for another one, a.k.a. I couldn't think of an a.k.a. and I'm still here.
And I'm Jess, and we're back for another week. Welcome back, everybody.
So I'm going to bring something up.
Oh, God. Does it have to do with farts?
Why, you been farting?
No, because the last 3 episodes, you talk about farts. So we're going to call you a fartologist. That could have been your AKA from now on.
Well, you've gotten a little more comfortable farting. There's been a little more rumbles in the jungle.
Whatever. What do you have to bring up? I'm scared. Every time you say that, and you have a smirk right now, I'm like, what is going to come out of this dude's mouth?
Well, I'm laughing at myself, really.
Okay.
So, for the past 2 weeks, unbeknownst to me, I have been taking dog medication.
Yes, you have.
So, this medication I'm taking, ain't nothing wrong with me, folks. I'm good as gold. But I had my pill thing, like with all my vitamins on. You have that little pill thing where you organize and you put them on, so you can just grab it for the day and go.
I have Russ's supplements all in a pill organizer.
Yeah. So I take a shitload of supplements, and I realized I've been taking Biggie's medication for the last 2 weeks because if anyone moves my shit, it doesn't matter what you put there. You could have put anything. I just would have took it. It was a jar. I took the shit out in the same spot. So I've been taking Biggie's medication for the last 2 weeks, and I don't have fleas now.
No, the best is that it's Biggie's thyroid medication, which is hilarious. I looked it up, though, and you are safe, but I found it hilarious because it just shows that you do not read your labels.
Don't touch my shit. So it was funny, though. I'm going to work. I'm leaving. It's probably 4 a.m. I'm grabbing my pills, and I see it, and then I wake Jess up. I say, Jess.
Yeah, that was really rude.
Wake up. I've been taking dog pills for the last 2 weeks. Am I gonna die? Because I was about to go to the emergency room. It was emergency.
No, you did not. Nothing happened, but it was very startling when you woke me up like that. I thought you were gonna die based on how you were acting, but turns out you just didn't read.
So what we've learned from this is don't move my shit.
We also learned you need to read.
But why? I put it right there.
Biggie has meds too. All of our meds are in the same place.
Nah, Biggie's can't be where mine are anymore because
you won't read it.
I might end up neutered.
That's really funny. So this month on the Patreon, we are covering a documentary that's a little older. It's from like 2017, 2018, I think. It's called Thought Crimes, The Case of the Cannibal Cop. And it's about this dude who is an NYPD officer who was apparently planning to torture and murder and eat his wife. And his wife found all of the chat rooms that he was talking about this in. So it looks like a really interesting documentary. I'm really curious to hear Russ's opinion on it after we watch it. Our patrons, some of them have already watched it and commented on the post about it and said, like, this dude is disgusting. And a lot of them felt like they needed to shower afterwards. So it's going to be a really interesting one. So if you guys are looking to hear our coverage of that or want to hear any of our True Crime and Chill episodes, we have tons of them over there. You can go to patreon.com/wifeofcrimepod. And Russ has the patron shout outs.
Yeah, I was going to talk before you made me do the shout outs. But I was thinking it's very interesting, like any documentary we're ever going to do, the Patreons, they already watched it. They're always ahead of the game. It's very rare that like, oh, okay, I'll go watch this. Like, yeah, okay, we've been waiting for you to do this one.
Yeah, a lot of them have already seen it, but some of them literally watched it the second I posted it.
Yeah, and being that it's called Thought Crimes, I already know where I'm going to go with this probably. Thought crimes mean there wasn't no real crime possibly. It's going to be a sticks and stones thing because I don't give a fuck what no one says. Anything anyone says to me is not a crime. It's just annoying.
Well, let's see. We'll see how you feel about it once you watch it all play out.
So this week's Patreons are Andrew, Melissa, Danielle, Taylor, Lori, Michelle, Casey, Maurice, Veronica, Brianna, Lauren, Marianne, Jamie, Shelley, Amanda, Amy, Samantha, and Nicole.
Cheers.
Damn it, I dropped my beer can. Hopefully, this might explode. Here we go.
Oh, it didn't explode on you.
No, just a little. Hold on. It's a little foam at the top, folks. It'll be all right. Pause.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you so much for joining.
So every week I do review of the week, and it's been going steady. I forgot a couple times, pulled a couple out on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
This week, there were multiple that I could have done.
Wow.
Yeah. But I chose this one, and the rest of you lost.
Oh, God.
So, this one's from Jab 0609. Which is correct? Bated breath or bated breath? They spell them two different ways. Who cares? As long as we know what you mean. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, whichever is correct, that is me waiting for the next episode to drop. I love, love, love this podcast. All the episodes are just right versus other true crime podcasts that leave me feeling like Goldilocks. That one is too long. That one is too serious. This one is just right. And to top it off, I find myself regularly agreeing with Russ. So pop a top and enjoy this scintillating show.
Scintillating.
Scintillating. They spell it SC, damn it. And since Russell asked Siri anyway, most sources agree that baited, which is a shortened form of abated, is the correct spelling for the saying that means eagerly anticipating something. Cheers to y'all.
Oh, nice.
So I nominate Jab to be the official wordsmith of the podcast. I just got an education through that motherfucker. I learned scintillating.
Scintillating.
I said scintillating. But that's what it says.
Yeah.
I sound words out.
Yeah, no, there is a letter in there that doesn't have a sound. Those are the ones you hate.
I don't play that game.
I know. All right. So there's a case that is back in the news this month. A case that has been cold for 27 years. But just last month, it was finally closed. Cases that remain cold for so long, they actually really make me sad because these victims really do deserve justice. But sometimes there just isn't enough concrete, hard evidence to catch the killer. This case, on its surface, is truly bizarre. But as you look deeper, we find that sadly, it's actually a tale as old as time. This is the tragic murder of Marlene Warren. Are you ready?
Yeah.
On May 26th, 1990, Marlene Warren was at home having a typical Saturday. She was catching up on things around the house. So Marlene was this pretty busy lady. Her and her husband, Mike, they were a successful couple who had multiple businesses. They owned a used car lot, one of those like buy here, pay here places.
Yeah, that's where you get like a shitty car and pay too much for it because you have bad credit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a predatory loan place.
It is.
And then if you buy a car from buy here, pay here, I don't know anyone that's ever actually paid the car off. That shit, they always repo your 1987 Mercury Cougar every time.
Yep, and that's exactly how this place was, and we'll talk about it a little more in a bit.
They've been profiled.
They have, yes. They also owned multiple rental properties, 20 to be exact.
Goals.
And they owned a few racehorses. So she was definitely pulled in a few directions. And a Saturday at home, cooking breakfast and catching up on housework was exactly what Marlene needed. About mid-morning, Marlene hears a knock at her front door. When she opens it, she's faced with a person dressed in a full clown costume. Orange curly hair, white face paint, a red nose. This clown was holding 2 balloons and a bouquet of flowers.
Oh, no, you got to close the door. That's like when I was away for work and they sent me a happy birthday singing telegram.
Yes.
I almost shut the door, but Jess was there and then I felt bad. Like my brother and sister and people, they chipped in and got that sucker.
They did. They sent you a telegram.
This poor schlub has to knock on a hotel door and sing happy birthday. I had like my shirt off and shit.
You did.
Wiping crust out my eye.
I think I have the video. Maybe we'll have to post that video somewhere. That would be interesting.
Maybe if they beg for it. They have to really want it because I don't want to post it.
So, Marlene opens the door and there's a clown there. And the clown has a bouquet of flowers and some balloons. And Marlene, she's a little uncomfortable. She immediately starts giggling. Then the clown reached out and handed Marlene the bouquet of flowers. She started giggling and she said, "Oh, so pretty." And then bang, Marlene was shot in the face.
By the
clown.
What?
Marlene's son Joe and a couple of friends were in the house and they heard his mother say, "Oh, so pretty," and then heard the gunshot and immediately came running. Joe found his mother laying in a pool of blood. He looks up and he sees the clown calmly walking, not running, walking toward a white car.
This is like a scary movie.
Joe at the time had a cast on his leg. He had a broken foot. So he tried running after the clown, but he couldn't get very far. He screamed at the clown, trying to get it to turn around. Eventually, before getting into the car, the clown turns and looks right at Joe. The clown had dark eyes, and he initially thought that this person was a man. The clown gets into this white Chrysler LeBaron and drives off.
Oh, that's definitely from a buy here, pay here place.
Joe is in shock because his mother is still alive, still breathing, despite just being shot in the face. So he immediately calls 911 and he frantically tells police that a clown shot his mom in the face. Then Joe and one of his friends jump into his friend's car and start chasing after the white car. But unfortunately, they were too late and the clown was nowhere to be found. Police put an alert out in the community of Wellington, and everyone was notified that there's a clown on the loose that is armed and dangerous.
Reminds me of like back in the day, calling all cars, be on the lookout. Clown on the loose.
armed and dangerous. How scary is that?
I mean, I go out in New York, and there's a lot of clowns on the loose. You got to see the way these people dress and act.
Well, that's true, but this is terrifying.
No, that's crazy. And I'm thinking, like, was this a disguise, or like, was this dude a clown? Because who dresses up?
What do you mean? Was it like, they like a professional clown? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but like, if you're gonna choose to be to disguise yourself, you would try to be a little incognito. A clown, you're drawing a lot of attention to yourself, and that's why I call a lot of people clowns around. Oh, look at you trying to draw attention to yourself, you clown.
Yes, so that tells us that this person may have been an amateur.
Wait, what year was this?
1990.
Were there scary clown movies out there? They knew about like Gacy, and It was out, so maybe he thought it was terrifying. Maybe he wanted to like scare the shit out of someone.
Maybe. Well, you know, they put the alert out in the community that there's a clown on the loose that's armed and dangerous. EMS arrive on the scene and rush Marlene to the hospital, where she remained in critical condition in the ICU. She fought for her life for 2 days, but finally, doctors told Joe and her husband Mike that there wasn't enough brain activity to be compatible with life, and they made the agonizing decision to take her off of life support. You guys already know because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's VIIAHEMP.com, wifeofcrime1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, Save More Money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you know you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime. So the investigation into the murder of Marlene Warren was a roller coaster for police. A killer clown? Like this was definitely a targeted hit because there was no reports of anyone seeing a clown in the area. But who would want Marlene dead? And why would they dress as a clown to do it? It doesn't make any sense. As I said before, Marlene and Mike were a very successful couple. They met when Marlene was just 22 years old. At the time, Marlene was a widow. Her first husband, who was also the father of her 2 sons, John and Joe, died in a car crash a couple years before this. When Mike and Marlene met, they quickly fell in love. They got married, and Mike became John and Joe's stepfather, and he raised the boys as his own. A couple years later, the family moved to West Palm Beach, Florida, where Mike got a job as a meat inspector in a meat factory.
Pause.
Oh, God.
I would never take that job.
Oh, God.
You inspected meat?
You are literally 12 years old, Russ. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's how much would they have to pay me to be a meat inspector? It's the title.
Okay. While working there, the couple saved enough money to purchase a rental property. But then they slowly started acquiring more properties until they eventually had about 10. And Mike decided to leave his job at the meat factory. Mike then purchased the used car lot and called it Bargain Motors.
He left the meat in his past.
Now, Mike did some shady shit. And in 1983, he was arrested for tampering with odometers.
Everyone did that. Everyone back in the day tampered with odometers. I know people that tamper with odometers today. And I'm kind of curious how they do it. So this way you can hold the value of your car, honestly.
And then you'll get in trouble and go to jail. He ended up receiving 18 months probation for this. But despite that, the couple's wealth kept growing. Now having 20 rental properties, the car lot, and then they decided to purchase and manage a couple racehorses. They hit millionaire status. Mike and Marlene decided to move to a very upscale community called Wellington. This community is so fancy that every house backs up to a runway for the residents to fly in and out on their private planes.
Wow, that's when $1 million was like a lot of money. Now $1 million, man?
It ain't even enough to quit your job.
Yeah, like back in the day, you win $1 million, you quit.
Yeah.
You know, if I won $1 million, but like a clean million and I don't have to pay taxes, I think I could make it work. Like I'd live, you pay a car off completely, like get a Toyota that's going to last you 30, 40 years. You might could make it work, but
you invest your money.
But you're not rich. You're just going to have to. But like back in the day, like, oh, I'm rich. I got diamonds, darling.
Yeah, well, these people had a private plane and they had their house back up to a runway for their private plane. This is some fancy shit.
Did they have a plane?
Yes, Mike had a plane.
Wow.
So Marlene and Mike, they had a really good marriage for a while. Marlene was a very sweet person. She got along with everybody and had a lot of friends. She got along with everyone in this new community that they moved into.
Listen, folks, do yourself a favor. Every time someone dies, they were a nice person. They were so great. They got along with everyone. Be a piece of shit and you'll live.
Well, Marlene was a very sweet person. She got along with everyone and she had lots of friends. But Mike, on the other hand, he was described by people in the community as a little weird. Mike had a few bizarre things happen to him. Like one of his racehorses was kidnapped and later found dead. And his plane was stolen once.
How you steal a plane? Not everyone could fly a plane.
Mike was involved in some shady business. And the people in the community felt like there was more to Mike underneath everything. They just couldn't put their fingers on it. But they knew there was something weird about this guy that just didn't add up. In September 1988, tragedy struck the family when their oldest son, John, was killed in a horrible car crash. According to Joe, the couple's other son, things were never the same again after this. Their marriage took a serious toll. They began fighting a lot more, and Marlene even started fearing her husband. One time, she even told her mother, "If something happens to me, Mike did it." So around 1989, Mike began having an affair with a woman who worked for the couple at Bargain Motors.
He hired a hot secretary.
Her name is Sheila Keene.
And she definitely had like a fluffy hairdo back then.
She did not.
What?
She had long, straight brown hair.
She was ahead of her time.
Her name is Sheila Keene, and she was in charge of all the repos for the car dealership. Police discovered that the two had been having an affair after Marlene's death while investigating her murder. They questioned many people in the couple's lives, including the workers at the dealership, who all said that they suspected that the two were having an affair. And one employee even told cops that she accidentally walked in on them having sex at the dealership in Mike's office.
And it was a slimy dealership if it was a buy here, pay here. It ain't like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Those joints always have like distorted, foggy windows.
Yeah, it smells like old cigarettes in there. And like,
back then, everyone could smoke everywhere. And they probably, they have the painting on the windows. Deal,
yeah,
whatever.
Definitely. During the investigation, obviously Mike was the first person of interest and was questioned right away. But he told investigators that he had no idea who would want his wife dead. He told them she didn't have any known enemies. She was a good person, and she got along with everybody. Mike did say, however, "We do repossess a lot of cars, and we've had to evict people from our properties." Marlene managed the properties, so it could have been an angry previous tenant. But police were skeptical of this. They had received an anonymous phone call on the day of the murder. The call came from a woman who said police should look closely at Mike and his girlfriend, Sheila Keene. Mike had an alibi at the time of his wife's shooting. He was heading to a racetrack with a group of friends. But Sheila, however, didn't have a solid alibi. At the time of the murder, she claimed she was working, driving around alone, looking to find a couple cars that Bargain Motors was going to repossess. Mike and Sheila both denied any accusations of their affair. Sheila herself was also married at the time, but her marriage was kind of on the rocks. During the autopsy, the medical examiner recovered the bullet from Marlene's head. It was either a .38 Special or a .357 Magnum, because both bullets have the same diameter.
I was wondering how they wouldn't know. They need a real bulletologist, like a real one, to be able to figure that out.
Probably. Sheila had told people that she carried a .38 caliber revolver with her when working because she repossessed cars.
And that's a very dangerous job.
Yes. And this was also corroborated by...
Congratulations. You didn't play yourself.
I didn't. By Sheila's husband. Police found out that the balloons and the bouquet of flowers were purchased at a Publix supermarket that was only a half mile from Marlene and Mike's house. Shout out to Publix for having the best sweet tea in the game, by the way. Best sweet tea in the game.
I think they got good sandwiches. I lived in Florida for like 45 seconds.
Yes, they have really good sweet tea and really good sandwiches at their deli
But
counter.
you can't get like a New York hero there. New York heroes, you got extra meat. Like you could just get another thing of bread and make it into 2 sandwiches.
It's true. New York, they give you tons of meat.
Paul, look at you. You're so immature. I can't believe how immature you are.
When cops went to the Publix, there was no surveillance footage at the store because this is 1990, but they questioned multiple employees who all said they remember seeing a woman buy those things the morning of the shooting. They remember her because when she was buying the flowers and the balloons, she was wearing gloves, which a lot of them found to be really odd.
Because in Florida, why the fuck would anyone wear gloves? It's never cold enough for that.
Exactly. They described the woman as having long, dark hair and brown eyes. Although they didn't have the costume, police went to a local costume shop to ask questions. The workers at the store told police that 2 days before the murder, on May 24th, a woman with long dark hair entered the store and looked to be a bit frantic. She told employees she needed a clown costume, and the store was actually closed. So the employees said, "Okay, you can come back tomorrow and we'll have it for you." But the woman refused to leave. She said, "I need a clown costume now." So they sold her a costume, a red nose, an orange wig, and white face paint.
So obviously she's guilty, or she's an accessory to crime and she bought this for someone else to wear.
At both Publix and the costume store, police showed a photo lineup, and both sets of employees pointed out Sheila Keene as the woman that they encountered. So 4 days later, police are called because there was an abandoned white Chrysler LeBaron sitting in a parking lot of a Winn-Dixie supermarket. The employees said that the car had been there a few days with no one seen using it, going in and out. It's been in the same spot. So police processed the car and they found orange fibers matching the same exact texture of the orange wig from the costume shop that they believed to be where the costume was purchased at.
Booker, Dano.
Police also recovered a few long strands of brown hair. They found out that the car came from a rental car place called Payless Car Rental. Apparently, the couple who last rented the car called Payless and said they wanted to return the car after hours. The person on the line said, "Oh, that's fine. Just leave it outside the gate with the keys inside." So they did.
There can't be a more annoying person than this. Not everyone has worked in retail or whatever, but I've worked in places that service people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you serve drinks, you sell things, whatever. When we're closing, we're closing.
Yeah.
And now this is her MO. 2 times already, you're inconveniencing these employees. We're closed. You want to return the car? We are closed. You don't get everything you want. And now you're going to jail.
No. So the people who rented the car was not Sheila. This is a couple who rented the car, the white LeBaron. They called and asked if they could return the car after hours. And the person they spoke to on the phone said, "That's fine. Just leave it outside the gate with the keys inside."
Well,
so
in this case, if you ever try to make an employee that doesn't even want to work, because no one wants to work longer or inconvenience them, you should go to jail anyway. So that couple and that couple, you're going to jail now.
Okay. So when police spoke to the Payless people about this, they said they would never tell a customer to just leave a car outside the gate with the keys in it. Come to find out, Payless was right next door to Mike's dealership, Bargain Motors. After questioning the couple who left the car, they found out that the couple accidentally called Bargain Motors that day instead of Payless. So someone at Bargain Motors told them to leave the car outside the gate with the keys inside. Who do we think that was? Police searched Sheila's apartment and found fibers similar to those found in the car that were orange and curly and matched a possible orange clown wig. But despite this evidence, police couldn't prove without a shadow of a doubt that Sheila killed Marlene. All the evidence was circumstantial. They also couldn't prove that Mike was at all involved because he had a solid alibi. So sadly, the case went cold.
This is not a cold case.
Well, it went cold.
She bought a clown costume.
She says she didn't buy a clown costume. There's many women with long dark hair. She claims she didn't buy a clown costume. She claims she was working. A few years later, Mike was charged with grand theft, tampering with odometers, and racketeering, and sentenced to 4 years in prison. The murder of Marlene, as I said, it went cold. Police had it in their cold case unit since they hit a dead end. But unfortunately, her case got put on the back burner for a number of years. But in 2002, the police found out that Mike and Sheila went out to Las Vegas and got married. They also found out that Sheila and Mike moved to Virginia, and Sheila changed her name to Debbie. She's now known as Debbie Warren.
Debbie Downer.
The couple opened a burger restaurant called the Purple Cow in Tennessee, which is not far from their home in Virginia.
That's a stupid name. That place is definitely out of business now.
There was a burger on the menu called Mike's Intimidator. It was a 1-pound burger on a 9-inch round bun. So now, fast forward, 2013. We know, sadly, cold cases get worked pretty slowly, and this one really was worked slowly.
I understand people's frustration, but I also understand why police would leave like a cold case that's been cold for so long on the back burner, because we can solve probably 10 cases in the time it would take us to solve this one.
Yeah.
So you got to be more efficient.
No, I get it. I get it too. All they had was circumstantial evidence in this case. So they didn't have any DNA or solid forensic evidence. But police decide once they hear, that these two got married, they opened a business, she changed her name, they decide to reopen the case and look deeper into Mike and Sheila, aka Debbie. They question multiple people who currently work for the couple, trying to get additional information. One person came forward and said that she and her roommate worked for them at the Purple Cow, and her roommate said that one night Debbie, aka Sheila, got drunk and told her roommate that her and Mike were having an affair years ago, but couldn't be together until she, quote, got rid of Mike's wife. But this is just hearsay. Although police believe this, and police really do think Sheila did it, they didn't have any way to prove it. So then in 2017, cops sent off all the forensic evidence to the crime lab. So this happened in 1990. Now it's 2017. They're finally sending off all the evidence to the crime lab. They sent the orange fibers, the brown hair found in the LeBaron.
Wow, almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm. And the brown hair came back as a possible match to Sheila because it matched 5% of the female population, and Sheila was in that group. But it wasn't strong evidence. It wasn't solid DNA evidence. But police felt it was strong enough to finally make an arrest, along with all the other circumstantial evidence they had. So Sheila Keene Warren was arrested and charged with first-degree murder in 2017. She was brought back to Florida, where she would await her trial, and she sat in jail for 6 years awaiting her trial.
Wow, she didn't have no money no more because a good lawyer would have you out on bail probably.
The state ended up being in a tough position because a bunch of the key witnesses had since died. They had a ton of circumstantial evidence. They had this shaky hair strand DNA evidence. And they had, some of the witnesses who picked her out in the lineup at Publix and the costume store. But nothing truly solid.
That's crazy how many people died in a 6-year period. Were these people old?
In a 30-year period since 1990.
Oh, I thought since she was locked up.
No, since 1990.
See, me and a couple other people just caught up.
Okay.
Probably Wanda. She'd be lost too.
So just 2 weeks ago, on April 23rd, 2023, Sheila was offered a plea deal. Sheila Keene Warren pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. The plea deal offered a 12-year sentence, but since she's already been in jail for 6 years and she has time off for good behavior, they are expecting her to be released as early as next year. Sheila's attorney said this is a win for Miss Keene. She was forced to plead guilty. She is innocent, but she was facing the death penalty, so this is a great deal for her. That's what her attorney said.
So they're saying that she wore the clown outfit is what they're saying.
Absolutely. They're saying she bought the clown costume, she put it on, she wore it, she committed the crime.
I just thought it was possible that she bought the clown outfit for someone else. Because what kind of idiot would buy the clown outfit to wear for themselves?
I don't know. But that's they all firmly believe, and I'm sorry, but I believe it too.
She might be guilty of not only murder but being dumb AF.
Yeah. Well, Mike has never been charged. Today, Joe spoke out and he said he is happy to have some justice for his mom, Marlene. He said having the case remain open for 27 years hurt him so much. And now that the case is finally closed, he can begin to move on with his life. Now, do I think Sheila Keene murdered Marlene Warren? Yes, I do. I think Mike and Sheila planned this murder so that they could get rid of Marlene and be together. I do, however, feel that since the case is so weak, the Palm Beach DA's office did the right thing by offering a plea deal. Because I think if it would have went to trial as a first-degree murder charge, I don't think they would have won. Because there is reasonable doubt. There's just not enough evidence to prove it.
It's crazy. Weren't the fibers of the clown wig and stuff found in a car and all that?
Yeah. But it's not her car. How do you know? They don't know she was driving it. It was found in a stolen white LeBaron.
Back in the day, a Chrysler LeBaron, if you had the convertible, you was fresh too, though.
But they found the orange wig fibers and her hair in the LeBaron, or hair matching 5% of the population that she was in. They also found the clown hair fibers in her house. So.
She's a clown.
She's a clown, for sure.
You're a clown.
Definitely.
You're done. I hate that girl on TikTok.
I definitely think that they would have lost if they would have gone to trial, like a jury trial, because there is reasonable doubt, I guess. But I do think she did it. And I think Mike was involved, and Mike got away scot-free because he's gotten nothing. There's been no repercussions for him at all. But if the woman he had an affair with did it, he definitely was involved. He claims that if he knew Sheila killed his ex-wife, he wouldn't be with her today.
I don't think he's definitely involved. I think there's a good chance he is, but it's not a 100% because she could have wanted this relationship, and knowing that he had a wife, she had to get rid of the wife.
So you think she's just crazy and he just like, he ended up marrying her?
No, I'm saying it's a possibility that he knew, but it's not a guarantee if she did it, he knew.
Yeah. Well, that is the tragic murder of Marlene Warren, and it's finally closed after 27 years. And
she's about to be free.
You know, yeah, she's about to be free next year. So that's really interesting.
Damn. And in a tragedy, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey is out of business, so she can't even come out and be a clown no more.
Yeah, well, she's still a clown. She's going to come out and live her clown life.
It's funny because they call everyone clowns. Outside, I'm like, this is fucking clown.
But when you think about this case, like I said in the beginning, the details of this case are very bizarre. Imagine opening the door of your house and there's a clown in front of you. Like, how terrifying is that? But then, underneath all of it, like I said, it's a tale as old as time.
But her family saw the clown walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked the clown in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time you can tell if someone's a man or a woman by their build.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so how tall was this clown?
So apparently, according to Joe, he believed that it was a man at the time based on the size of the person's hands and their stature. But
like Jerry Seinfeld, an episode Jerry Seinfeld, he did date a woman with man hands.
Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes.
Little known fact, first time to the podcast, Jess has big hands, folks. They are not small.
Jess has big hands. I do not have man hands. They're just very long.
She could palm your face. Jess could palm a basketball. She can't dunk, though.
I have very long fingers.
She's uncomfortable.
But I don't have man-looking hands. They're just big.
No, you don't have like hairy knuckles.
No, not like the man hands from the Seinfeld episode where she like takes the lobster and she's like...
But you look like you could slap the shit out of someone.
You better watch out. You'll catch these hands. That's my new slogan.
You catch me from 8 feet away with them fingers.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning back in.
And this is where I say go to wifecrime.com, catch the super dope merch.
Yes.
Because we got some stuff over there. And we got some new stuff coming with Jade, because Jade is the bomb. She makes dope designs.
Yes, we've been saying this for a couple months, but it really is finally in the works and coming out soon. So we will keep you posted on the new merch. So check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod, and Facebook at Wife of Crime, the Crime Family, and Patreon at Wife of Crime Pod. And have a wonderful week. Talk to you later. Bye.
Peace.